Looking back at the best Yellow Productions videos of 2020, I'm Chris. This is Yellow Productions. This is a live stream. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, entertaining. In today's live stream, I'll be taking a look back at 2020, looking at some of the best Yellow Productions videos of this year, talking about some of the milestones from the channel this year. I'll be talking just a little bit about the year. It's been a weird year, and so in this video, we're going to recap the top 8 best Yellow Productions videos this year. We'll watch some of them. I'll talk about some of the behind the scenes and some of my thoughts after they've been up and produced, how well they did, how well they didn't do, and then I've got a couple bonus videos that I want to share with you at the end after we get through the top 8. And as usual, I'll be taking your comments and questions as we go through. All right, so the first thing I like to do in these annual live streams is just share a bit of statistics about the channel, how that looked over the year. So this year, Yellow Productions, we published 130 new videos. That is down 17 from last year. Apparently last year was a more productive year for the channel. We put up 147 videos. This year, all of you watched Yellow Productions videos for 828,000 hours. That's a lot of time watching the videos, and I appreciate every single hour and every single minute that all of you watched. Total views, 7 million views across Yellow Productions videos this year. How many comments? 54,000 comments, and I tried to respond to as many comments as I can. I will say I probably did not get to respond to all 54,000 of them. That is up from 33,000 comments last year. So I love all the positive comments. The troll ones, they can go away, but I think there were more positive comments this year. 2020 brought 28,000 new subscribers to Yellow Productions. If you are one of those new subscribers, new to the channel, I welcome you for this year. And if you're a subscriber who's been on board for longer, well, thank you for staying on board that long. And now, Yellow Productions total videos, we are up to 980 videos total on the channel. So for 2021, definitely we're going to break that 1,000 video milestone. So that will be interesting. So let's talk about some notable milestones that Yellow Productions crossed this year. First, 200,000 subscribers. It was a couple years ago that I crossed 100,000 and got the first 100,000 plaque. After crossing 200,000, I ordered the second plaque, which is down there. The second notable milestone is we were featured on Japanese television for a segment on tourism in Fukushima, Japan. As Fukushima tries to restart its tourism industry, Ouchijuku and I were featured on one of their news broadcasts. I will share that with you here at the end. I know I've shared a portion of it previously in a previous live stream, but if you didn't catch that, we will watch that and talk about that one today. And then the third milestone this year, new change that you've probably seen to the channel, is we've started producing short travel news segments. I'm trying to take advantage of the new YouTube Shorts feature where they're trying to compete with TikTok on 1 minute or less videos. I'm trying to bring you the news in 1 minute or less segments in a vertical format. I've started up some live stream collaborations, bringing more guests on the channel. We've had Walter's World, Here Be Bar, Aloha from Hawaii, Not Leaving Las Vegas, Turn It Up World, and Sailing Avocet. If you'd like me to invite more people on for collaborations, let me know who you'd like me to invite on, because this list of people often comes from your recommendations. A couple of those were definitely your recommendations. And the last notable milestone this year, in addition to new content that I've just started up at the end of this year, is doing walking tours. So we just did one of the Santa Monica Pier. I thought that would be interesting to take a look at what that looks like when there aren't any tourists. We shot one in Huntington Beach. That will be coming out later this week, of the Huntington Beach Pier, Surf City, USA. I tried to do those as mobile live streams originally, right? I did Laguna Beach and Balboa Island. I know many of you watched those. The quality was not really what I wanted, so assuming you all like the walking tours. If I continue those, I'm going to continue those probably in recorded form instead of live form. Brian says, I'm sure having a child decreased your video productivity. Maybe just a little bit, though. Maybe just a little bit, which is also why, from a pivot perspective, the 1-minute news shorts, those are they take more time to it surprisingly takes a long time to record a 1-minute video. You'd be surprised because I have to record it like 10 or 15 times to make sure that there's no stutters, that it's clear. But I can read news, I can write my script, I can do that with a baby in my arm. The editing really is the hard part, having a baby around, that focused time on editing. Stamford Bridge says, maybe I should do walking tours. Maybe I should do walking tours. That's pretty funny. And the Uniplex says, I do the best live streams. Thanks, you Uniplex. I've also tried really during this year to double down on the live streams and make sure I get them out weekly. And I appreciate all of you for tuning in weekly as well. Dree says, you're the best, #1. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. April joined it and says, lately the stream has been coming on when I was working, but now I'm off for Christmas break. Excellent. Merry Christmas break, April. And let's see, this time of 1:30 tends to work out for the UK and Australia, so it works well for a lot of different parts of the world. It does not work well for the US-based working population, so I am sorry about that. Freddie says, I finally get to see you live on one of my very few days off from working at the busy hospital. Freddie, thanks for working at the hospital, and thanks for joining in today. All right, so I always like to talk now in these live streams about our travels this year and big trips. And obviously, weird year, right? So we've not been traveling as much as we would have had there not been a pandemic. Our big trip this year was to Japan. We went in February. We primarily went to Fukushima Prefecture. And I know everybody about Fukushima thinks about the nuclear disaster, but there's tons more in Fukushima to see and do. We'll talk more about that throughout this stream because actually 2 of the top 8 videos are videos on Fukushima. We also visited Sendai, Japan, and we spent maybe 4 days in Tokyo. We can't visit Japan without hitting up Tokyo, one of our favorite places. We also went to Joshua Tree National Park. I think that was probably the last big thing we did before the pandemic really got roaring. If you're not familiar with Joshua Tree National Park, that is near Palm Springs in California. They have these really interesting trees that kind of look like Dr. Seuss trees. And then what I've tried to do recently is more videos about exploring the California coast. As we're not traveling, we do realize here in Southern California that there's a lot of interesting beaches and a lot of stuff that people want to see or haven't seen. So I've been trying to do travel guides on the different beach cities and then maybe some of these walking tours that I'm starting up of places like the Santa Monica Pier or attractions that are worthwhile to walk around. Let's see. Honestly, Bridget said, hey, Chris, my husband and I found out last week we're going to have our own first little explorer. Congratulations, honestly, Bridget. That is very exciting for you. I wish you both the best. And Hoshi says, I found your channel this year. So happy to get some good tips and entertainment. Thank you, Hoshi. And Gillian says, Merry Christmas, Chris. We love you here in the UK. Merry Christmas, Gillian. Thank you very much. And Tau Empire Kid says, I can never find the Joshua Tree at the park. Do you walk around the park and say, Joshua, Joshua, where are you? It's probably hard. They never respond, right? Mark says he liked my Italy reviews, could not get there in May. Yeah, Italy. It'd be nice for us to get back there. One of my favorite countries. I should have done more videos on Italy. I'll probably put out some Italy guides in a bit about just maybe live streams talking about travel to Italy. We don't always have to be there on location. James says, Chris, great stream. What are you drinking today? Well, let me tell you what I'm drinking. Then I'll talk about the new equipment that I've upgraded this year, and then I'll start rolling into the best videos. So I got a straw that I have to take out of the package. Show you this today. I am drinking from Share Tea. I am drinking a honey milk tea that is 80% sweet. They put it right there on the label right there. I love these teas because they seal them perfectly. Would you do this with a cup from, most places, right? You got to get your thing. You got to stab it through there. And Sweeten that iced milk tea with honey. Ooh, that's pretty good. Now, speaking of Little Explorers, many of you know our daughter, our Little Explorer, she just turned 1 year old this month, and she just got her U.S. passport back in the mail yesterday, so she is officially legal to travel now, so that's exciting too. Okay, this year, since we haven't been able to travel, I've been spending a lot of time here in the home studio. I did a fair bit of equipment upgrades to it, so I call this the year of audio and lighting for the home studios. Kind of started doing more streams in this location of our editing suite by the fireplace. I've got the new microphone for voiceovers. This is the Shure SM7B. Famously, this is what Michael Jackson used to record Thriller on. I've got this new headset for doing these live streams to make more clear audio for you and also to maybe cut out some background noise, which is the same one I've been using for the live walking tours. It does a really good job of cutting out the wind and having clear audio. I got a new microphone for recording the shorts, and cell phones don't have the best microphones, and so I got this what is it? It's a Rode NTG Video Mic Pro to record the audio for the shorts. And finally, I got a new light, which can't see it because it's behind the camera. But when I do these at more like 5 o'clock, then it's dark and I don't get the sun. And so I needed a bright light here. And so those are all the new equipment upgrades. By the way, if you haven't seen that and you want to see the full tour of my studio tour, that was something I put out just a week or two ago, so you can check out that video if you want to see more on the back. MP says, Chris is like the only vlogger on YouTube where we all ask what they're currently drinking. It's kind of like a signature thing with Chris and the fans, for sure. And to tell you, to be the signature thing every day that I do a live stream, I think about like, oh, where should I get a drink today so that I have something interesting to talk about. So that's the interesting drink today. Tony says, I found your reviews for Lisbon, Portugal very useful, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate the kind words. All right, so now let's get into the top 8 videos of 2020 from Yellow Productions. I'll go down this list. And by the way, if you want to watch any of these, I mean, you can certainly search for them. After this video is live, I'll put the descriptions of all of them and links to them in the description of this video, so you could just expand them and find one of these videos if you want to watch the whole thing. We will not watch each of these videos, but a few of them, we'll watch a little bit of them and then talk about them. So the 8th, I should put up the numbers. Here we go. We don't want number 1, we want number 8. All right, there we go. The 8th most viewed Yellow Productions video of 2020 was the 23 cheapest eats on the Las Vegas Strip. So a video that I did that's always been really popular, has been really popular, over 1 million views, was my video on the best cheap eats on the Las Vegas Strip. And a lot of people viewed it, but a lot of people flamed me for it because they said, Chris, you said cheap eats, yet you went to Shake Shack and you said your burger, fries, drink, and a milkshake was $20. That's not cheap. And well, then I say, well, I mean, the Shake Shack is on the Las Vegas Strip, and the Las Vegas Strip just isn't cheap. But clearly people were looking for, not what I'll call inexpensive. People were looking for what are the cheapest things I can eat. So I put this video together. I recorded it just like right before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and then I held it, and I'm like, well, I have to publish it eventually. And so most of these places have reopened, not all of them, but it's still a pretty good video if you're going to visit Vegas. Let's go ahead and watch the first 3 minutes of it, and we'll watch what I think is one of the most unique cheap eats on the Strip that maybe a lot of people don't know about. The cheapest eats on the Las Vegas Strip. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. This video is part of my series on Las Vegas, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the cheapest place to eat on the Strip. You know, the days of the $1 shrimp cocktail and the $2 steak on the Las Vegas Strip, unfortunately, are long gone. The Strip has become quite expensive, and you really have to hunt for cheap eats. Well, in this video, I've done the hunting for you, and I'm going to break down some of the places to get the cheapest food around. I'm going to share with you where you can get the cheapest breakfast, the cheapest steak, good deals on prime rib, really cheap hot dogs, and of course I'm going to be talking about where you can get some of the best tacos on the Las Vegas Strip as well. Now these prices might not seem that cheap to you because you might say, well, Chris, in the town I live in, things are way cheaper. Well, I assure you, for Las Vegas, these prices are quite cheap. And I won't just be talking about $2 hot dogs. Well, in addition to talking about $2 hot dogs, I'll also be talking about some of the... This is one of the scenes that people often ask me how I do these scenes. Like, Chris, how did you do that? Were you levitating? And I love to do a lot of my starting scenes on the escalators in Las Vegas. All right, so now that you know where the levitating scenes are shot with something interesting in the background, that's the city center in the background. Let's go ahead and skip to the tacos that I want to show you where I started, and we'll resume this. Potato. You'll find this off the main casino floor for the cheapest and... Wow, that was the wrong button. Best tacos on the Las Vegas Strip. Visit Tacos El Gordo. This is a chain originally from Tijuana, Mexico, so you know it's authentic. $2.60 will get you a taco in a variety of meats. Their specialty is the adobada taco, which is a roast pork that they slice right in front of you. I've got 2 of them, so $2.60 each. They're hot, they're moist. It comes with the adobada, some sauce, onions. Let's dive into one of these tasty morsels. The pork is juicy, it's flavorful, and a great interplay between the sauces, the onions, and the cilantro. You know, I often say Mexican food doesn't travel all that well very far from Mexico, but these tacos travel really well here to Las Vegas. Super authentic, and I should know because I grew up in San Diego, right across the border from Tijuana. They've got a lot more items here than just tacos. The tacos happen to be the cheapest. That's why they're in the Cheap Eats video. Now, the way you order is you find what you want on this sign up here, and then you go to one of these order here signs. So if you want carne asada, you go there. If you want adobada and al pastor, then you come over here. After you have gotten all of your food, then you're ready to pay. You come over to the cashier right over here, and you pay, and then you eat. Now, this seems almost too... Yeah, so there we go, Tacos El Gordo, an epic place in Las Vegas, and it's just in the shadow of the Wynn and the Encore. Most people don't really end up walking all that far on the Strip, but if you like tacos, it is a good place to go. It can get pretty busy, so I like to go there about 5 p.m. before the dinner rush. Wild Foodie Tours, who also does food tours in Tijuana, says, I love those adobada tacos, freshly carved from the rotisserie. They're pretty good, and you know it's good adobada when it is going on that rotisserie. Hoshi AM says, for 2020, I would love to see a video on hotel reviews for the places you haven't stayed, like New York one. Hoshi, tell me a little bit more. How am I going to do a hotel review for a place I haven't stayed? You mean like hotel reviews in Las Vegas of the ones that maybe I haven't talked about before? Just to clarify. Benoit says Vegas prices have exploded in the last 5 years. They have, and it's unfortunate, which I think is why it is important to scope out stuff. Stanford Bridge says, I would love to meet Al Pastor. I would love to meet Al, too. He's a great guy that invented a great taco. The Pepper Mill is open. It is not closed. They did reopen. Gillian asks if I can say hello to Stuart. Hello, Stuart, and thank you for the kind words on being the best Vegas blogger out there. MT says my best video of all time is still the worst Vegas hotels video for sure. That's the one that's gone to over 2 million views. And Gillian asks, what's my favorite gaming machine in Las Vegas? You know, I play the slot machines that are like pretty and have lots of sounds that are new, and so every time I go, I just find what the prettiest, newest one is that has lots of mini games. And for me, it's not about like winning a lot of money, because you know the math on that says you don't win, but it's the one that has like the loudest speakers and the best graphics. Those are the ones that I like. Aha! James asks me, what are these on my arm? Yeah, so with the pandemic, you know, a lot of things are closed, so we've been doing a lot of hiking, and this is a rash from poison oak. It's actually clearing up a bit. It looked worse, if you wonder what that looked like. It looked like I got a couple cigarette bites. There's a little bit of it there, and then there's a little bit of it on this arm. That is one of the problems of hiking in Southern California is poison oak. And Nosferatu says he agrees that's how he found Yellow Productions, the worst Las Vegas hotels. I stayed at 3 of them. Well, you should win some award for doing that. Big Easy wants to know, what do I think of Vegas buffets? I love Vegas buffets. Buffets are one of the reasons why I go to Vegas. I want them to reopen. The Cosmopolitan, the Wicked Spoon, is still open, and you can get them to serve it to you, so I think that's pretty good. Brian says I should do a collab with Rick's Flicks. All right, thank you for the recommendation, Brian. All right, let's go next down on the list to the 7th best Yellow Productions video of 2020. So the 7th most viewed video of this year on Yellow Productions was a video we did on our trip to Fukushima, Japan. This video is titled The 10 Must-Visit Places and Hidden Gems in Fukushima, Japan. We uploaded this one in March. It went on to have 106,000 views. And so let's watch about 3 minutes of this. We're going to see a train station master, that the station master of this train station in Japan is a cat. This is like, how often, like, have you ever been to a train station and you'll usually go find the station master and it's like a human, right? But in Japan, in Fukushima Prefecture, in this city there, it's a cat. So let's take a look at this. The best things to do in Fukushima Prefecture. I'm Chris. This is Topher. We are the internet's #1 human and stuffed panda traveling duo, and this video is part of our series on Fukushima Prefecture and Japan as a whole. If you want to see more videos on Fukushima or Japan, you'll find links in the description below to our whole playlist. But in this video, we're going to be sharing with you some of the best things to do in Fukushima and some of the hidden gems that maybe not a lot of people know about that you can check out that are slightly off the beaten path as well. In this video, we'll be hitting up things to do mostly in Fukushima's mountain and central region. We're going to start in a historic village of Ouchijuku. We'll visit one of Fukushima's most iconic castles. We'll head over to the Mount Bandai region, famous for outdoor activities, then over to Fukushima City for strawberry picking and strolling through an onsen town, and we'll end in Koriyama City to check out an amazing view at Fukushima's tallest building. And the first place we're going to talk about is right here. It's Ouchijuku. This town, it's in the Aizu region of Fukushima, so it's in the mountains. As you can tell, it looks pretty snowy and cold here. We're here in February and they just finished their winter festival where they had snow sculptures. But the first thing you want to do when you come to Ouchijuku is you want to check out the Viewpoint Observatory. It's on that mountain hill right back there, and from there you can get a great view of the town and see the 48 preserved houses that are here. All of them have thatched roofs and they continue to keep them up today just like they were built in the Edo period back in the 1600s. The closest train station to Ouchijuku is the Unakami Onsen train station. We're going to get there in just a second, but first let's stop by the Aishinomaki Onsen train station so you can meet their very special station master. One of the things to do in Fukushima Prefecture is to visit Labu-chan. He is the station master of the Aishinomaki Onsen station. And by the way, the whole station is super cute because the station, it's got cats everywhere. But I do want to point out that if you're coming to visit Labu-chan, make sure you're here one of the days he works, and he only works from 9 to 4 p.m. He's got 2 days a week that he's off, and those 2 days a week then his chief engineer's working. But when he does work, he's got to check everything out in the train station. This is where they change the tracks, and this cat is the cutest cat ever. You have to come and you have to meet him. Though I will mention, and we're just kind of patrolling with him as he's patrolling the station, I have to mention that they typically don't allow photos and videos. So Labu-chan gave me special permission to come down here and film him on the rest of his patrol off the tracks. So if you want to see more Labu-chan, you can check out that video later. Nothing Master says that Cat Station Master was a blast. It was a super blast. And that was like one of those things as we're like doing some research on what to see in Fukushima. We're like, there's a train station that has a cat as the station master? That is absolutely amazing. Brandon says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Brandon. Ryan has a question, but first I want to say a few more things about the video that we just saw. So in Ouchijuku, which is what you saw there in the beginning, this was the first time I've had one of my memory cards die on my camera. So we actually went to that town twice to shoot that video. We went there at night for their snow festival, and it was like -8 degrees Celsius. So we had card casualty on that one. It just got too cold, and I lost everything from about a day and a half of shooting. But the good news is the Cat Station Master was the next day, so we didn't lose the Cat Station Master. That would have been totally sad. We have a whole series on Fukushima, including what to eat. There's the what to do. There's some travel vlogs, and we're going to come back to Ouchijuku because the video we did just on that town appears later on in this list. Brandon really liked the hat on the Cat Station Master. The hat was the best thing. All right. Ryan asked about Las Vegas and asked if I think Vegas is okay for kids. I think so. I think there's a lot of kid-friendly things in Vegas. ESR says, if you were to leave California, where would you live in the U.S. and abroad? Big fan. If we lived abroad, we would live in Japan or Singapore. If we lived in another state in the U.S., we'd love to live in Hawaii for a while. OC Girl actually grew up there for a period of time. But it'd be fun to live there for a couple of years. I think if we had to pick another state to move to, it'd be Texas, because we love Texas barbecue and the food there, though I don't see us leaving anytime soon. Tony says that the Cat Station Master in Fukushima does a better job than station masters here in the UK. It's probably true. It's probably true. Nothing against, anybody in the UK. Grant says, I started watching due to the pandemic boredom, kept watching due to high-quality, entertaining videos. Keep up the great work, Chris. Thank you, Grant. I appreciate the kind words. The positive comments are definitely one of the things that keep me going, so keep them rolling. Natalia says, I love the station cat in England. There are station cats including Felix and Bolt. Wow. I will have to check them out next time we go to the UK. Sydney asks if I recommend traveling to Japan when it's snowing. We've been to Japan a number of times when it's snowing, and actually we do recommend it because Japan has such a great public transportation infrastructure that you don't have to worry about a lot of the problems of like, oh, I'm driving in the snow and it's mountainous and it's going to be awful. So it's actually a pretty good experience traveling in Japan in snowy times. Natalie asks if I would consider a collaboration with Watched Walker from London. Thank you for the tip, Natalie. I will add Watched Walker to my list. Okay. And Kathy just joined from Australia. Welcome, Kathy. Good morning to you. All right, you are here just in time for the 6th best video of 2020 from Yellow Productions. And it's an interesting one because it's sort of not a travel one, but it's one about the Amazon Fresh grocery store. So we live in Orange County, California, and I have seen on the side of the the 5 freeway, the side of the 5 freeway here, this Amazon store that was coming up, right? It said Amazon Fresh on it, and then every once in a while I would just drive by it to see it, whether it was open or not, and I happened to drive by on their opening day, and I was like, this place is awesome, I need to do a video about it. So we shot a tour of Amazon Fresh, which is Amazon had previous like convenience stores that had like a lot of tech in them, and this one is a very techy grocery store. Let's go ahead and watch about 3 minutes of this tour, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it after we watch this video. A tour of the Amazon Fresh store in Irvine. This store just opened today. It's Amazon's newest and biggest supermarket. I want to show you how the store works. When you come into the store, you got an option. Do you pick a regular shopping cart or the dash cart? These are smart shopping carts where they're all computerized. They've got screens. You can shop with a regular shopping cart, but this is what you want to use. And let me show you how this cart works, and then we're going to take a look around the store. So the cart's really smart, but when you come in the store, you'll put your Amazon QR code here for Fresh from the app, and that's how it knows it's you. And then here you put a couple bags in it. It's got cameras, it's got lights, and so it detects everything that you put in. So now how do you buy items in the store that have a barcode? Well, this is pretty easy. All you do, you take the item and then you just put it in the shopping cart. The shopping cart recognizes it, and then you can see back here on the screen, we've got mother-in-law's kimchi, $7.99 each. You know what? That's actually a little more than I want to spend on kimchi. When I take it out, it recognizes that I took it out again, and then you can see back here in the shopping cart, quantity 1 removed. Maybe next time, mother-in-law's kimchi.
So to put produce into the smart cart, first you have to know the PLU. What's the PLU? It's a code on the oranges. It's right here. It says these are 3107. So now we're gonna go to the smart cart. Then right here it says add PLU item. We're gonna click that, and then we're gonna put in 3107, and we're gonna hit enter. And it says, hey look, that's oranges, and it has a scale in the cart. So we're gonna take these oranges right here in this bag, we wanna take a look at, and we're gonna put them right here in the cart. And as we put it in the bags that are in the cart, now we'll look back here and we'll see it measures it. That's 3 pounds 25 right there, $1.90. Confirm weight. Da-da! We just got $1.90 of oranges. So if you want to find things around the store, you can just ask Alexa. Alexa, where's Marsala wine?
Find Marsala wine at aisle 11 and aisle 16.
We'll find it in aisle 11 and aisle 16. Which one shall we find? Maybe the cooking wine on aisle 11. And look, because I know what it looks.
So a funny part about this part of the video, talking to Alexa, people were like, Chris, you need to mute that part of the video because it makes my Alexa go off in my house when you talk about it. I'm curious if anybody's Alexa went off. Now, I do a tour of the store that I'm going to skip through, and I'm just going to show you as we take the cart and exit now.
You can pick up things in just 1 hour from the time you order. So that's pretty good. And that brings us back to the beginning of the store, and if you have your smart cart, then this is where you exit out. And with the smart cart, you just push it out over these green arrows, and as you do that, your credit card automatically gets charged. You get an email.
We're gonna go straight on that, right all the way to the black carpet right over there. Awesome. So it's gonna automatically sign you out, and then it's gonna send your email to your receipt to your email. Sorry.
Okay.
Alright, you're all set, and I'll take the cart from you.
And there we go, the Amazon Fresh Store. That video I uploaded in October of this year. It went on in just a couple months to have 121,000 views, 2,222 likes. By the way, I always go through my videos and look at how many likes they've gotten. So if you enjoy them, please give it a thumbs up, because that also helps me look at the end of the year what videos people liked, what videos should I consider making more of. So if you haven't liked this live stream yet and you're enjoying it, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Now, the shortened version of this video I just showed you, the full video is 11 minutes long. I do a store walkthrough. The shortened version, which is about 3 minutes, apparently some Chinese site lifted and put it on some Chinese site and actually put Chinese subtitles under it, and it's been making the rounds around China and Taiwan. Unfortunately, it doesn't go to my YouTube view counts, which is kind of sad, and I have no way of like clawing that back. You know, had I known that video would have been so successful, I would have made my own translated videos onto YouTube, I guess. So we also filmed that using the Sony ZV-1, a new camera that we got this year, which is kind of a small point-and-shoot camera. Tracy said his, I'm not going to say the name, just went off about the masala wine. Hopefully it didn't order any for you. April Adams says, what is the Amazon store at 2nd and PCH in Long Beach? Went to that shopping store strictly for Shake Shack and saw a long line leading to an Amazon store. April, it's funny you would ask me that question thinking that I know what the answer is, but in fact I do know what the answer is. So that store, and there's a couple of them in LA now, it's called Amazon 4-Star, and it's a store where they basically just have things that are rated 4 stars and above. And so it's a physical Amazon store with some of their best products that are there. And they have like the little review tag. So it's basically like, it's the same prices as you would have them on Amazon. I think it's kind of a neat concept. You know, if the line's not too long, you know, it's interesting to take a look into it. It's not a supermarket. It's more of a, you know, like you would think of it almost like a Christmas gift shopping store, but they've got everything there from pet stuff to baby stuff and those sorts of things. Michael, Traveling the World, says he's late and he's sorry, and he changed his name from Traveling the World. It's all good. Welcome, Michael. You can join in on any time. Pamela says, brilliant. It could assist older folks in adapting to technology. Yeah, I think the Amazon Fresh stores right now are basically like almost a giant experiment to be like, will people use this? And for Amazon to work out the technology. But it's, I mean, it's a neat experience to use that shopping cart because it's so high tech. Larry says, found your channel last year and planning a trip to San Diego. Used some of your recommendations, had a great time. What are your favorite places in Florida? Disney World in Florida, of course. I also really like Miami, like South Beach. But if you want to pick like a place that I feel like is a little bit off the beaten path and has a neat vibe, check out Key West, all the way in the south at the end of the island chain in Florida. They're really famous for their key lime pies. It just kind of has like a neat Caribbean vibe to the island. And Natalie says, hit that like button for our favorite explorer. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate it. And for the 53 of you that have liked the video already, I appreciate it. Although there are 133 of you watching, so there's at least 80 more of you that could hit that like button. And, and if you really don't like the video, then just hit that like button, hit the dislike button, but, hit it twice, right? To, let YouTube know that you really don't like it. And there were a couple of comments that I missed back here. Nothing Master asked if I've been to Wholesome Food Store. I don't know if you mean, there's like a Whole Foods. I've been to the Whole Foods. There's also a Wholesome Choice, which is like a Middle Eastern market in Irvine. And yes, I've been to that one too. Cool store. There have also been some requests to say, hey, Chris, you should do more supermarket tours. And I'll consider maybe trying to do maybe some Japanese supermarkets or some other ones. Tree asks, what do you think of Super Nintendo World, which is in Universal Studios in Japan? I think it looks really awesome. OC Girl and I want to go. It's on our list for when travel returns again. Question, any advice for new travel YouTubers? Just get started, start making videos. I have a video titled something to the equivalent of like how not to make money. If you look through my live stream playlist, I've got a couple videos in there that are focused about, advice to travel YouTubers and what it means to monetize and not. So you could take a look at those. Those are easily hour-long topics in their own. Varun says, what's the best hotel in New York for you? Price being no object, I love the Park Hyatt New York City, and I love the JW Marriott Essex House. Those are great. The one I often end up staying in, because it costs less, is the Marriott Times Square. It's a huge hotel, but I do like the breakfast in the lounge, and I like the location Times Square. Waka89 wants to know if I've been to Mitsuwa. Mitsuwa is a Japanese supermarket, and yes, I go to Mitsuwa all the time. I really like their location in Costa Mesa because it has a huge Japanese food court. And yes, MP points out the best jokes are the ones that are explained. If you hit the dislike button, it takes it off. You don't have to tell people that. Just, it's cool. Really hate it. Like, hit it twice, All right. Okay. And Rob wants to know, how can I put Vegas in my trip if I'm doing San Francisco, LA, and San Diego? I would just do Vegas at the end, really. I would do San Francisco, drive down the coast to LA, drive down to San Diego, and then from San Diego, drive up the Interstate 15 to Vegas. That's the order. You could do it that way, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Vegas, or you could do it the other way, Vegas, San Diego, LA, San Francisco. That would kind of be the most direct route to do that drive. Okay. Let's go on to number 5. The 5th best video of 2020 for Yellow Productions that you all watched the most was my video on the Las Vegas Strip is starting to reopen. This was one that I uploaded in May of 2020, talking about the Las Vegas Strip reopening live stream, 1,500 likes. That one went on to do pretty good, particularly for a live stream. Since it was a live stream, you know what those look like? They look like this. There's no pretty things to show. I'm not going to show you any clips from that one. And I think we all know about what the Las Vegas Strip looks like now, so we don't need to talk about what it may look like when it opens. The 4th most viewed video of 2020 is the top 5 best hotels for your money on the Las Vegas Strip. So I did the worst hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. I did the best luxury hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. And then a lot of people would ask me, yeah, but Chris, what are the best like budget-friendly hotels? So let's go ahead and watch... Let's not watch this one because I didn't queue this one up either. But to say that if you want to watch that one, I'll put a link to all of these in the description. but budget-friendly hotels, people often ask and say, hey, Chris, what are some of your favorite? You know, it really depends on the time of year, but in that video, I kind of give you a good list of all the different ones. Kathy wants to know if we're doing the numbers backwards. We are doing the numbers backwards today. That is exciting, isn't it? Randy wants to know if I go to H Mart much. H Mart is a Korean supermarket. I don't go to H Mart as much as we go to Mitsuwa or Tokyo Central. And Nothing Master says I buy Whole Foods. He says I meant to say Whole Foods store in Irvine. Again, there's kind of two. There's one at Irvine Spectrum Center, which is like a smaller one, and then there's a bigger one in Tustin. I generally like that one, which is closer to that. Kathy says, I've never seen the numbers going backwards. I don't do it all that often, but I'm doing it this time. I started with number 8. So we're going to do 10 videos total, but top 8 and then 2 special ones. Nothing Master wants to know, where would I recommend a destination in the U.S.? Now, I would recommend you visit someplace outdoorsy, because outdoorsy stuff is open. I think San Diego might be a great destination in the U.S. Or, you know, if you kind of like, I don't like all the masks and regulations and all that stuff, then Florida, you know, pretty much everything's open for business in Florida. So those are a couple places in the U.S. I think to go to right now. Gut feeling, do I think the Tokyo Olympics will happen next year? Gut feeling, yes, in some weird modified form, maybe with like no spectators or things like that, but I think Japan will want to have it because they've invested so much money into it. Okay. The third best video of 2020 was another live stream, also about the Las Vegas Strip reopening. This one was titled, How the Las Vegas Strip Will Change When It Reopens. So, number 5 was the Las Vegas Strip is starting to reopen. This is what's open. And then this one was, you know, like a month before that to say, like, hey, what's it going to look like when it reopens? Clearly, my Vegas videos are the ones that many of you love the best. It's another live stream, so we're not going to watch any clips of that. All right. That video, 145,000 views, also 2,179 likes. The second best video from 2020 was also from Fukushima Prefecture that we saw earlier. This one is specifically on Ouchijuku. It's the post town, that snowy town that you saw. This one we uploaded in February of 2020, and it went on to have 240,000 views. We already saw the post town, but I'll show you a little bit of the beginning, and then I want to skip to this really interesting restaurant in Ouchijuku where you eat the noodles not with chopsticks, but you eat your noodle soup with a giant, like a giant green onion kind of thing. So we'll take a look at a few minutes of this one. A travel guide for visiting the Japanese mountain town of Ouchijuku in Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. This video is part of our series on Fukushima. If you want to see more videos on Fukushima, you'll find links in the description below. But in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to visit Ouchijuku, including how to get here, what to do when you're here, and of course, what to eat. But first, let's start with a little historical background. So the history of this town, why is it here? Ouchijuku in the Edo period served as a post town on the road between Nikko and the Aizu region, this mountain region of Fukushima. The feudal lords in the Edo period, which was like the 1600s to the 1800s, they were required to spend every other year in Edo, the former name of Tokyo. And that's a long journey, and they would have to stop and they would have to rest. And so actually this town is where the feudal lord would rest. And by the way, all of the houses are about the same size except for this one. This house is bigger than all of the other houses because this is the house that the feudal lord would stay in. Winter streams here in the winter, and I'm sure this stream is just as pretty in the summertime too. So speaking of the negi soba, if you want to try the restaurant that originated negi soba, it is this one right here, Misawa Restaurant. This is like one of the buildings closest to the parking lot or the bus stop. Sliding door, if you don't know how to get in, just slide it, and I'll see you inside. So sitting down at a very nice table in this restaurant, it's a really neat place coming into one of these old houses. But here's the menu, and something really interesting about the menu. There's a few different types of soba. What everybody comes here for is the negi soba, and I'll talk about this more as we get it. There's also some that don't have soup or sauce. There's fish, and something that I thought was really interesting is if you just want to get a negi,
the negi, you can just buy that for 110 yen, or about $1. And another really neat thing about dining here in the winter, these tables have these blankets that go under them, and they're actually heated underneath, and there's a little plug you can control the temperature. My legs are nice and toasty. No visit to Ouchijuku would be complete without the negi soba, and I told you I would tell you what the negi soba is. This is a negi. This is a leek. This is a specially grown leek. They grow them specially in this region in the curved shape to be used as a chopstick to eat buckwheat noodles. These are served cold, and it's got bonito flake, it's got daikon radish. We can stir it up before we eat it, and I have no chopsticks on this table. I just have this. I've been practicing my slurping muscles here in Japan because it's compliments to the chef to slurp the noodles. The noodles have a very clean taste, and you eat the negi as you eat the noodles, which is really kind of spicy. And as you eat the negi more, the flavor of it changes the further you go up on it. Now, how do I know that? Because I was here 2 days ago and had this as well. It was that good. We had to come back. So when you come to Ouchijuku, make sure you get the dish the region is famous for, the negi soba. In addition to soba noodles.
Yeah, saying being there 2 days ago, that was the one where we shot that and then lost the memory card and then had to go back again. But it was such a classic thing that we're like, we can't put out this video without having the negi soba. And it was tasty and interesting, and it's a dish that I've seen nowhere else except Japan. And Japan has a lot of these like interesting things about like, well, it's this food, but then like a certain way to eat it, that like you eat it this way or you try it this way, that like kind of gives it all a little bit of a different flavor. Wu Taiwan says, I want some soup dumplings bad now for some reason. Definitely get some. Din Tai Fung is one of my favorite restaurants for their xiaolongbao, their soup dumplings. Susie says, I know Japan's your love, but Vegas seems to be your fan favorite. Do you enjoy going to Vegas? I do enjoy going to Vegas, Susie. After about 5 days, I'm ready to go home, though. And that's not to say that I don't like it, but it's just like Vegas is so much like energy and lights and these sorts of things that like after 5 days, I think I'm overloaded. I live close enough, though, that I can go for a short amount of time and go back. I mean, we love Disneyland, but we also like to go to Disneyland for like 4 to 5 hours of time, and then we're done. We want to go home, but then we're ready to go back again next time. So yes, as Varun says, I'm sure he loves Vegas. I go 3 times a year some years, so I do. And it's close by. Anthony wants to know if I ever played golf at Pelican Hill. Well, of course, I've never played there, but it's in Newport Beach here on the coast of California. An amazing, amazing place. By the way, I know many of you couldn't hear me saying anything when I was sliding through. I was just saying earlier that let's go ahead and skip ahead. So that's what happens when I mute the microphone, so you don't hear me slurping here in the background. Wild Foodie Tour says, loved Din Tai Fung if I've been to the new one at the Aria Hotel. I've not been there yet. I figure they all kind of taste the same. So I have been to the original location in Taipei, though. I loved Din Tai Fung. Next time I'm in Aria, I'll probably go there and check it out. But since we have Din Tai Fung, like the closest to us is in South Coast Plaza in Orange County, which is really close by. It's like a 10-minute drive. So we probably won't eat it in Las Vegas because we'd save our Vegas eats for things that we can't get here. Julian says, have you gone to Disney Sea? Did not speaking Japanese mess with the immersion? We have been to Disney Sea. I have a video on Disney Sea. Check it out if you haven't seen it. You can just search for Yellow Productions Disney Sea. But not speaking Japanese did not mess with the immersion, though. I mean, some of the rides, yes, they're all in Japanese, but it's okay. It's really okay. And the staff there all speaks good enough English for you to get around. Awesome. Adam wants to know if I'm going to VidCon 2021. If there is a VidCon 2021, I'll go. Yeah, I love VidCon. I go every year. All right. And let's see. Wu Tai says, your live walks are awesome. Thanks, Wu Tai. Nothing Master asks if I'm thinking about doing San Diego to Vancouver by car. Ooh, interesting. I've never driven that far. We've sort of done like San Diego to San Francisco, which I think that's cool. I've not driven north of San Francisco. It sounds good, though. Just spend a lot of time stopping and enjoying the journey. All right, let's go to number 1. Dun, dun, dun. The best Yellow Productions video of 2020 was the video titled What's New in Las Vegas for 2020, an annual tradition that I do, always covering what's opening in a particular year for Las Vegas. This video had 433,000 views, 5,703 likes. Obviously, the thing that I could not predict for Vegas in 2020 was the coronavirus pandemic, but in this video, I cover all of the things that are opening, planning to open. I will likely do another one of these for 2021 about what you can expect to open in 2021 and what's opened in 2020. Though it will likely not be on location in Las Vegas because we don't have any trips booked immediately. But you can stay tuned for a What's New in Las Vegas for 2021. We'll watch just about a minute of this so you can see what this looks like in case you didn't see it before.
One of the great things about Las Vegas is it's always changing, and so there's always new things to see, do, and eat. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what's new in Las Vegas for 2020, all the new things that opened in the 2019 year, and all the new things that will be opening in 2020, including a few attractions that are under construction opening further out. We'll talk about things to eat, things to see, things to do, and of course, hotels to stay in and shows to entertain yourself. First, let's talk about new hotels for 2020. And the first hotel that I want to talk about is the Oyo Hotel. This used to be the Hooters Hotel, now it's part of the Oyo brand. Oyo is the world's fastest growing hotel brand with 23,000 hotels. Never heard of them? Well, they're from India and they've planted their flag here in Las Vegas in the former Hooters Hotel. Now, if you're wondering, is the Hooters restaurant still there? Yes, for now the Hooters restaurant is still there, though reports are saying that the Hooters restaurant does plan to move to another strip hotel in the future. The inside of the hostel still looks very familiar to the old Hooters theming, kind of that red, woody orange. There is a new Steak and Shake since the last time I was there, and there's a lot more purple around as well. I'm sure.
So anyway, if you are planning a trip to Vegas and you want to see new stuff, check out that video because it's all still valid. Most of those things all still opened. The Oyo Hotel replacing the Hooters Hotel is great since that was on my Hooters Hotel was on my list of the worst cheap hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. Wu Tai asks if there's any word on vaccination requirements. Nobody's really come out to say that yet. Australia has said they likely intend to. It wasn't Australia, it was like Qantas. The airline said, likely we intend to require vaccination proof for people to travel, but no countries have come out to say, yeah. I'm waiting for that news, and definitely if there's a country, the first country to drop that, to say like, oh, we require proof of vaccinations to come in, you'll be the first to know, and I'll let you all know here. So there are 2 more notable videos that I want to share with you all now that we got to number 1, which the first one, a notable video that didn't make the top 10, but I just think is pretty cool, is my Floby video. My Floby video kind of blew up this year because George Clooney came out and said he uses the Floby. What's the Floby? It's the vacuum haircutting device. I talked about this on live streams, and all of you were like, Chris, you need to do a video on the Floby, and so I did. Let's take a look at me cutting my hair with the Floby. A video review of the Floby vacuum hair cutting system. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. My hair is getting kind of crazy. It's quarantine time with COVID-19 around, so I have not been able to go out and get a haircut, but that's okay because I have not been to a hair salon or a barber in 20 years because for 20 years I've been cutting my hair with the Floby. That was your speed version through the Floby video. If you want to see the whole thing, just search for Yellow Productions Floby. But I think that really validates the Floby as a reasonable product, the fact that George Clooney says he uses it. And a couple comments. MP says, I love that hair video of yours. Thank you. Michael, Traveling the World, says, what's the cute music? I think it's called Bathing Apes. something like that. Vanessa says the box is so 80s. That box probably is from the 80s. A number of you are saying, Chris, are you going to do a blooper reel? I have all my bloopers stored in a folder. I just need to edit it. So yes, you can expect a blooper reel to come out within the next couple weeks. MT says, Chris, you have a blog now as well. I've always had yellow.net with 2 W's, YELLOWW.net. You can find the link in the description. It's basically a place where I just put links to all the videos that I upload to YouTube, but it's maybe an easier way to look through them if you're looking for, like, where was that video that you did on Austria? You can go through there, and I've organized them by country and destination. By the way, if you are always missing these live streams and you're like, Chris, when is your live stream? When's your next live stream? I've started up an email list. Many of you have joined already, but if you haven't joined, then just head over to update.yellow-productions.com, join the Yellow Productions crew mailing list, and every time I do a live stream, I'll send you an email to let you know about a day ahead of time, and every time I upload a new video that's not a live stream, I'll send it to you out there too, so you're never missing the Yellow Productions videos in YouTube's algorithmic subscriber feed, where they don't give everyone to everybody. All right. And Stamford Bridge says that George Clooney must use it because I do. He must. I'm sure George Clooney heard I use it and then picked it up. All right. The last video I want to share with all of you is a little bit of OC Girl and I on Fukushima News Channel. So let's take a look at just a minute or two of us on Japanese television. If you wonder what Chris sounds like in Japanese, I think they've dubbed a bit of this over. Maybe they subtitled it. One or the other. Here we go.
N スタ
今日の特集はこちらのアメリカ人 YouTuber が主役です。政府はオリンピックまでに2000万人の外国人観光客を呼び込む目標を掲げています。
そんな中、県内でもさまざまなチャレンジをしていて、 YouTuber の正体もその一つです。県内の観光地の魅力を世界に発信する YouTuber に密着しました。
今や世界のインターネット人口のおよそ3分の1が利用する YouTube。 そこへオリジナル動画を投稿するのが YouTuber です。今回世界でも人気の YouTuber が福島にやってきました。
クリスです。
タニアです。
これはトファーです。イエロープロダクションという YouTube チャンネルで旅行動画を投稿しています。情報盛りだくさんで面白いぜ。
アメリカ人 YouTuber のクリス・レイニーさんと妻のタニア・ユエンさん、そしてパンダのトファー君は世界中を旅して今までにおよそ800カ所の動画を制作しています。投稿した動画の再生回数は3700万回を超えます。
Hotel is the Merlion. And we had champon for dinner at this Chinese restaurant. So what's champon? Well, it's this.
この日訪れたのは猪苗代町のとある観光名所。
見てごらん、湖だ。
とても大きいわ。見て、凍ってるわ。
It looks like the water splashed like there's
湖からしぶきが飛んできて木について凍ったように見えるけどね。
厳冬期の猪苗代湖で見られるしぶき氷。まさに自然が作る氷の芸術です。
So that spot you were seeing right there was what they call splash ice, and it's this lake that it's so the lake doesn't freeze over, but the air is so cold that when the water splashes on the plants on the side, then it freezes on the plants and makes these like really interesting ice sculptures. It was super cool. With the Japanese news crew followed us around for the day. This is our third time on Japanese television. I think like a live stream I want to do in the future is like what it's like to be on Japanese TV or what it's like to work with a Japanese television crew. I think that would be an interesting conversation, more than we can talk about today, but that was definitely one of the big highlights of this year, A, working with them, and then B, just watching it afterwards.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, it is time for the giveaway now, and if you answer this question, you're the first person to answer, I will send you a Yellow Productions Crew shirt shipped to you anywhere in the world. And my question to you is, what is the name of the cat station master in Fukushima Prefecture, Japan? Close will count in this, so the first person that gives the closest correct name wins. I didn't spell it out, so closest spelling to what it actually is wins. Put it in the chat. By the way, while we are doing that, people asked about bloopers. I don't know if I said this already, but yes, I have a bloopers reel queued up. I just need to edit it, so you will see a bloopers reel coming out. And Daniel says, is that the first time that OC Girl appears on camera? She actually appears in a lot of the hotel reviews, so if you see those, like, you'll often find her like passing by in the mirror and things like that. And Vanessa wants to know if Japan is really cold in the winter. It is cold in the winter. Yeah, it depends what part of Japan. But Fukushima in the mountains is pretty cold. So there's people who gave some guess. Wild Foodie Tour says the name of the cat station master was Topher. Close, but no cigar. Mike says Yo-Yo. Close, no cigar. Shiguru. Nope. Tama. Nope. Sydney Mai gives the first correct answer. Yes, the cat's name was Love. Very good, Sydney. Congratulations. Send me a message either on Facebook or you can send me an email to chris@yellow.net with 2 W's, YELLOWW.net. Let me know your address and what size t-shirt that you want, and I'll get that headed right over to you. If you didn't win today, well, you can pick one up on the Yellow Production shop. You'll find a link description in the description below to that. And if you're watching the archive of this video, you'll find the link to all of these videos in the description. If you're watching the live stream, well, I'm going to put them there right after this is done. So refresh this video in about 10 minutes and you'll find all these videos in the description. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you all in the next video. Thank you all for joining me on all of these live streams this year. We've got one more to end the year, so I'm not going to get all sappy and sentimental about the end of the year, but I do appreciate you all being here, joining me in the chats. These live streams have certainly been a highlight for this year, been a highlight for me to interact with all of you in this way, so I hope you've enjoyed them as well. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you all in the next video.